Every town has its own version of an inn, hotel, or bed and breakfast. In our journeys, we've discovered several of these places where the guests have never quite checked out. At least not out of the register.
A hotel, a place of rest for the weary traveler, an escape from the rat race for the overworked vacationer, or for the unfaithful, a place to satisfy secret sinful desires. Each night in hotels around the world, hundreds of millions sleep in beds, not their own, without concern for who might have occupied the room before them, or what deeds, innocent or otherwise, were done there. If the room's walls could talk, it's certain we would hear many strange and disturbing stories, which would surely make us think twice before bedding down again in just any hotel. One old hotel we discovered in Northern California not only has its share of unsettling stories, but some say hides a horrifying secret as well. During the 130-year history of the Willow Hotel, it has caught fire and nearly burned to the ground numerous times. Following the most recent blaze, only the hotel's first floor was rebuilt. Legend has it that the fires are the work of ghosts, spirits of men who died violently in a now-defunct mine shaft, which lies 100 feet beneath the ground, on which the Willow Hotel stands today.
They're called Tommy knockers, and what they are is, years ago when there was mines, they had the men above the mines who sent messages down to the miners. There was danger, or if anything was going on, and they just did it in Morse code. It was the easiest way of telling them.
One night, before leaving work, Allison believes she heard a ghostly message from one of the Tommy knockers.
A few times I walked past the buffet, back and forth, you know, just doing my closing shifts, and each time I would hear a tapping.
This ominous tapping occurs in many places throughout the hotel, but as yet, no one has managed to decipher the messages the Tommy knockers are trying to communicate. Former hotel guest Vicki Neal believes they're attempting to warn us about something monstrous which Vicki herself has already encountered twice while at the Willow. The first incident occurred in the ladies' room of the hotel's restaurant.
I was just getting ready to walk out of the bathroom and I heard this. It was the most evil, most hideous laugh I had ever heard in my life. It was like a man laughing at me. And he was right there in the stall with me. I mean, it was just very bizarre, and it was just like an echo. It was as if someone had like an echo machine right there next to me or something. It was just like, like that. And it scared me. It was like, get me out of here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to come back.
But she eventually did come back. This time armed with a camera and a friend who photographed Vicki in various parts of the hotel. When the photos were developed, one of them, incredibly, showed an image of the thing which had terrorized Vicki in the restroom.
On this side of the photo, it's very different. I've had a lot of people look at this, and I've had the same reaction from everybody, saying, in fact, well, I have handed this picture to people, and they'll tell me, this is the devil.
And Vicki isn't the only one who's had a demonic encounter at the Willow. Hotel owner Kevin Mooney recalls one unforgettable evening when he had a conversation with a man who was definitely no angel.
One night I was in here in the winter, and this guy walks in a trench coat and sunglasses, sits down and starts asking me questions about the ghosts. So I started telling him all the things I knew and all the stuff, and he never took his sunglasses off.
The man in the dark glasses had a sinister quality, and Kevin became increasingly nervous as the menacing stranger continued to probe him with questions.
I started getting a little queasy. I said, well, I'm going to close it up now. And he goes, why, you getting scared? And I said, yeah, to tell you the truth, I'm getting, a little queasy. So he says, okay, and he left.
After making sure the man was gone, Kevin locked up.
I turned off all the lights, and I go to go out the back door, and there's these two red eyes. I mean, just beating through the door, and I just put my head down and went running.
Kevin ran to another exit, but the door was jammed shut.
It felt like probably 5 minutes that it didn't open. And, you know, it's probably 5 seconds, but I'm just making those noises, and I got out the door, my heart pounding.
Outside, Kevin checked to see if the frightening vision had followed him.
When I looked at that door, there was 2 flashing red eyes looking right through the door at me. But there was nothing out there when I went out there.
Who or what did Kevin Mooney see that night? Could it have really been the devil? Is it Satan's presence that the Tommyknockers are trying to warn us about? It's as good a guess as any. But there's also another possibility.
Some believe the Tommyknockers' death was caused not by a disastrous cave-in, but by their unwitting discovery of a secret passage to a place unholy. A place called hell. Though this theory has not received wide acceptance, it does explain the riddle of why the Willow Hotel, which is just 100 feet above this alleged gateway, has a tendency to catch fire.